And there were a group that made this documentary?
Right, and they were challenged on it, saying, no, you can't do that, you can't spend money on this, blah, blah. So that's how the case finally got to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, sure, sure, you can spend money on
That's the one that was decided, what, in the last year or so?
January 21st of 2010, yeah.
Yeah.
So that since then, and it had a big influence on the 2010 elections in November, because a lot of money was coming in from corporations to promote, let's say, Chris Dudley or anybody else who was right-wing. And you've got Governor Scott, what's his name?
Oh,
in Wisconsin.
Walker?
Walker, I think so, yeah. In Wisconsin was, you know, the Koch brothers were, you know, pushing to get him, and they devoted a lot of money to his campaign. That's how he got in, because he's a radical right-wing person who has some views that most people find repulsive.
So, but corporations find them wonderful? I mean, why
Well,
are they
for the most
supporting
part,
such
well,
weirdos?
okay, the general philosophy
Good
is
question.
the neoconservative philosophy, which has been pushed at us since the Reagan era. And that philosophy basically says that, well, they want to have small government, basically mostly Defense Department, so that we can influence the entire world and corner the commodities of the world. That's what neocons want to do. Now, there are a lot of things that they do to get to there. And one of those things is, well, let's see. You got to keep me going sometimes.
Well, let me back up. Neocons, what's that? Is that some kind of an acronym?
Neoconservatives.
Oh, neoconservative. Okay,
Yeah, neoconservatives.
great. Neocons.
Yes.
It sounds
Yeah,
like convicts.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The
Maybe
Bush
they are.
family. The Bush family. This
okay.
all comes out of Ayn Rand and what is it?
Atlas Shrugged.
Yeah, Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman and his
author.
trickle-down economics.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, they have incorporated this into the neocon philosophy, and the main thing is deregulation, no government regulation, and free markets. Free markets operate, they will correct themselves, okay?
Right.
So we don't need any regulation because the free market will handle that. Well, the point is that we don't have a free market. We have corporations that more and more are becoming monopolies. And, you know, you've got fewer, they merge and so on, and before you know it, you've got one or two companies in that field. Do you see any competition between them? No, never.
But isn't it interesting that a lot of the time the argument goes, it's good, you know, this would be good for small business. You know, we're hurting, regulation is hurting small business.
Well, that's big business saying things that that really are not that great for small business. In fact, they're pretty much against small business. They would like to eat up all small business. It's like Walmart. You know, Walmart moves in and you see all the mom and pops, they're gone.
Yeah.
Home Depot, Lowe's. We used to have some good building supply people around here.
Right.
They're all gone. Well, most of them are gone. Yeah.
Well, so what's this House Joint Memorial that you brought
Well, the
along
House,
with you?
okay, we're trying now to get to a point. The way to take away that corporate political power is to reverse personhood.
Right.
And especially the Citizens United case, okay, which finally just blew it open and said, spend all the money you want. And so the House Joint Memorial is 9 is in the current Oregon legislature. What we're trying to do is push from every state so that every state says to its federal legislators, we want you to introduce an amendment to the U.S. Constitution, because that's how it has to be done. 2/3 of the Senate, 2/3 of the House has to approve this, so it's quite a task. But this will simply say, we'll have an amendment to the Constitution that says that when the Constitution refers to people, it means natural persons, human beings. This, you know, eliminates corporations, although the word corporation shouldn't be used in the Constitution. I don't think it should be used in the Constitution.
Why is that? too politically.
It's too focused.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, we're simply saying that if you're not a human being, you're not covered by
The
the bill
church
of...
isn't a
'Cause
person.
it could-
and a-
Right.
Yeah,
And you're
and
not
it could
covered...
cover robots in the future or something.
Probably. But,
You never know.
Ooh, I
but
don't
so
know.
you're not covered by the Bill of Rights. Okay. And there would be other parts to the amendment. One of them would be because it was established in Buckley versus Vallejo, which is another one of these cascading cases coming down from personhood, that speech or money equals speech. See, that occurred.
yeah.
That occurred before Citizens United. So now, basically, the court said, well, you know, corporations don't have mouths, so they have to express their right of free speech somehow, so they can do it with money.
They're mute.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and this is certainly one way to approach it, but maybe what we really need is a big PR campaign, because I think about corporate personhood and I think about some of the advertisements that we've been bombarded by, and a couple of them come to mind, like a good neighbor, so-and-so is there. Well, now wait a minute. So that would make it a person, right? We're talking about an insurance company as a
Yes,
person.
yes.
Or another one is, you know, some bank, member of the FDIC and the human race. I don't think so.
don't think so.
You know, they're a bank.
But they are. Under law, they are. And that's where we have to push them out of that and simply say, you know, you have to get out of politics. Go ahead, run your business. But, you know, Clinton was a turncoat, according to a lot of people. But he was responsible for Glass-Steagall being turned around, which Glass-Steagall did not allow banks and investment companies to kind of merge and do the same thing. In other words, if you're a bank, you can't be doing investment. You can invest in real estate and things like that. But you can't be putting money into the stock market and selling futures and all that kind of thing. Well, when Glass-Steagall went under, it said, we can do that now. Banks can do that, and investment companies can act like banks.
Yeah, I was going to say, and insurance companies are now acting like banks, and insurance companies are pretty much doing everything. Aren't they running the economy in this country now?
Right, right. And that opened the
doubt.
door for all of that money to be put into derivatives or into these packaged contracts of mortgages. These you know, so there were maybe 1,000 mortgages in one package, which then somebody or maybe several people would invest in. They would buy it. One of the interesting outcomes of that, and the way some people can now challenge these mortgages, foreclosures, is that they've lost the paperwork on a lot of it.
They have, because
Yes.
they've traded hands so many times.
Yeah, there was a recent, I think it was 48 hours or
Yeah.
something like that, that indicated that they had people out there actually forging signatures on contracts so that they could come up with the paperwork that, and maybe they did really own the mortgage, but they couldn't prove it. And so you can't take that into court.
No.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to cross your T's and dot your I's just like us little
Right,
folks.
right.
If you're going to be a person, especially.
Yeah. So this is one of the steps that's being taken to get rid of personhood. And so we want our state of Oregon, to say, look, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley and Schrader and all the other reps, we want you to submit, and Schrader incidentally has submitted something. I haven't seen the actual language on it. I've asked for several times and I can't get it. But
It's not on his website or something?
it may be on his website. However, whatever it is as ambiguous as this, and I'm not happy with it. Now, this is a step in the right direction. It just says, basically, resolved. See, a resolution like this, the important part is, therefore, be it resolved, that we, the members of the 76th Legislative Assembly, respectfully urge the Congress of the United States to pass and send to the several states for ratification a constitutional amendment to restore the First Amendment and fair elections in the people. Well, I don't like that because it doesn't directly attack personhood. It does say, you know, if you want to structure it that way, you could, but it's...
Restore the
First Amendment.
The First Amendment. Now, the First Amendment hasn't been recalled or
Oh, no.
But they're saying what they intend here is for it to restore the original intent.
Yes. Kick corporations out from under the First Amendment.
And you don't want them to say that so specifically because... because that would be too narrow.
Yeah, it is too narrow because
So-
the Constitution is not constructed that way. It's very general, so you want something that will last into the future. And if they called corporations something else, then where would be left? Oh,
Yeah, that's
Now
right.
those guys could become people.
All right, that's a good point. Well, where is this at right now in the legislative process?
It is locked in the Rules Committee. The Rules Committee has co-chairs. We have 30-30 in the House. So the rules, it's the House Rules Committee, has co-chairs, and that's Dave Hunt and Andy Olson. Andy Olson is the right-wing, foaming at the mouth,
Is he
conservative.
filibustering or something?
And Dave Hunt is the wonderful, nice guy, Democrat.
Wow, what a pair.
So what do people do who want to support this idea that corporations are really not people, and we need to go back and remind our legislature and the Congress of that?
We need to go, for instance, you each have whatever district you're in, you have a legislator. You want to go to that legislator and say, get to the Rules Committee, talk to the Rules Committee, talk to Dave Hunt, talk to Andy Olson, tell him, we want this passed.
House Joint Memorial 9
House Joint Memorial 9.
needs to be
right.
passed
Yeah.
and sent on to Congress. And
Yeah.
then you need to lobby your congressmen and senators to pass it.
See, that's the final feet on the ground thing that people are not doing. They're allowing companies to send lobbyists into our legislature and talk to all of our legislators, but for the most part, they're not going in there and doing it themselves. They should be crowding every office. They should be calling, emailing, but also
But
appearing
we
in
don't have
person.
as much at stake, obviously, as the corporations do. I mean, it's
Oh,
kind of
well, no,
what
yeah,
we do, but
they've
I
got-
mean, not very many people know about it.
In
Like-
terms of money, no, we're talking billions of dollars.
But how does it affect me personally?
Because you
Like,
can't
why
get
would I
health
want to
care.
go and talk
You
to
Because
can't
them?
if
get
they
help.
didn't have the power, you would have health care, we would have,
Yeah, but
you
see,
know.
that's kind of a roundabout kind of thing for me to understand.
Okay, the
Oh.
question you ask yourself is, why am I not getting good education, support for education? Why am I not getting health care? Why are we in wars that we just shouldn't be involved in?
Why do corporations have more rights than people?
Yeah, except
Right.
for people to tune into this. They have to look at it and say, how is it affecting me, like you just said.
Right.
And so you want to list all of these things, and there's just so many of them. You couldn't list them in the half hour we have.
Well, they can go to you suggested the website www.movetoamend.org.
Yeah.
Is that where they can
Yeah.
sign on to
Yeah.
support this idea?
Yeah, don't do this www stuff anymore. It's obsolete. Okay?
Well, I know, but it's a
Yeah.
website.
Yeah, it
okay,
is,
so
yeah.
movetoamend.org, and we'll put your email address on there. I can do it. .rich@gmail.com because
Yeah.
you're Richard Harris.
Yeah, and what I will do is send them materials like I have in front of me that will clue them in on the whole thing, show them the history of it, and give them references to other materials, such as Tom Hartman's book, Unequal Protection.
Okay, well, it sounds like a plan. I hope that people will respond. Everybody, go to your computer and sign on to support this idea and contact your legislators. And I really thank you for joining us today,
Thank you.
Richard.
Yeah, it's
Thank
been
you.
interesting.
Now, not just the state legislators, work with the federal legislators too.
Right, one at a time.
Yeah, so we work from the top and from the bottom.
Oh, okay, both at the same time.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
We'll do it both ways. Okay, and be sure to join us next time because we're going to be talking about healthcare and how healthcare does really impact everybody. And we want to talk about some of the different ways that can be addressed. So.
My favorite subject. Other than, well, now we're in corporate personhood because I want to get decent health care.
Right.
Right.
So.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Valley View. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.